Hello, folks. So I have a couple more practice problems for you on Venn diagrams. So I'm going to do the first two here for you, and then I'm going to give you a chance to try the last one on your own. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into it here. Okay, so in this problem, we're going to select a student at random from Annabelle High School. S is the event that the student plays soccer, and H is the event is that the student is on honor roll. Okay, so we're going to use the information here to help us fill in the Venn diagram and then calculate the individual probabilities. Okay, so they say 29% of students play soccer and are on the honor roll. So remember, and is this intersection part. Okay, so I'm going to convert these to decimals. So that's 0.29 goes in there, okay? And then it says 37% of students are on the honor roll but do not play soccer. So that's this part right here, okay? So it's the part of the honor roll circle that's not also connected to the soccer circle. So that's 0.37, okay? And then last thing they say is 3% of students are not on the honor roll and don't play soccer. So that goes out here, right? So neither, all right? So the last thing I need to figure out in my Venn diagram is this part right here, okay? So remember, the way that I do that is I know that all four of these values, this missing one, this and probability here, this probability, and this not, or this neither probability here have to add up to 1 or 100%. Okay, so what I'm going to do is say X is the one that I don't know, okay, plus 0.29 plus 0.37 plus 0.03 all has to equal 1, okay? So if I add these, 0.37 plus 0.03 is 0.4, 0.4 plus 0.29 is 0.69, so 0.69. And then what I'm going to do is subtract 0.69 from 1. Oops, hold on. So I need to subtract 1 and 0.69. So that value is 0.31. So that's what goes here. It's my missing value. All right, so now that I have all that figured out, I can answer these questions, okay? So this says write P parentheses S union H in words and then find that probability. Okay, so what this is I want to find the probability of selecting a student in soccer or on the honor roll. Okay, so remember, in a Venn diagram, an OR probability is you add all of the numbers that are inside the Venn diagram. So that's 0.31 plus 0.29 plus 0.37. And if you add all of those up, you get 0.97. Okay, now another way you could have done that, okay, so this is like option 2, right, is you could always do 1 minus whatever's on the outside, like still inside the box, but outside of the circle. So 1 minus 0.03, you're going to get the exact same thing, 0.97. Okay, all right. Okay, so B says write this second one here in words. So this is P, so probability of soccer. Okay, and then remember this intersection right here means and. So soccer and honor roll. Okay, and that one they actually gave to us in the problem. It's just 0.29. It's whatever that intersection value is. Okay. All right, so then this last one here. So this is soccer and honor roll here, but then it has this little dash on the outside, which means not. Okay, so the way I would write this in words is this is the probability of someone who's not in soccer or not on a roll. Okay, because I just want everything that's everybody who's not both of those things, right? So this little a little like apostrophe dash. Remember, sometimes it's also written as a small little c, which stands for complement. What it does is it basically does the opposite of everything that's inside the parentheses. So the opposite of S is not S. Okay, the opposite of H is not H. Okay, and then the opposite of and, what it does is it switches it. So it changes from and to or. Okay, so that's why this is not soccer or not honor roll. Okay, so I basically just want everything in the Venn diagram that's not this little intersection right here. So the easiest way for me to do that, honestly, rather than adding 0.31, 0.37, and 0.03, is to just do 1 minus 0.29, right? Because that's the complement rule. Right? So if you subtract those, you get 0.71. So that would be my probability. Okay. All right. For part D, it says find the probability of S. So remember, that's just everything inside the S circle. So that's 0.31 plus 0.29. Okay. And that is 0.6. Okay. All right. And then the last key thing here is find the probability of not H. So I want everything outside of the H circle. So that's 0.31, that's outside of the H circle, plus, and then 0.03 is also outside of the H circle. So that is 0.34. All right. Okay. So give me a sec to clear my screen off and scroll down because I've got one more problem that I'm going to do for you, and then I'm going to give you a chance to try one. So I'm going to pause mine. See you in just a second. Okay, folks. So one more example for you. This one already has the Venn diagram filled in for you. Very nice. So we're just going to figure out what all of these probabilities are. Okay. So first is E intersection Q. So that's both. So that's just 0.4. Right? It's where those two events intersect. Okay. Probability of Q is everything inside of that Q circle. So that's 0.4 plus 0.14, which is 0.54. Okay. All right. Then probability of not E is everything outside of the E circle. So it's like not this, not this. It's just these two that remain. So 0.14 plus 0.27. Okay, so if I add all of those together, I get 0.41. Okay. All right, then for part, let me do some erasing here. For part D, right, part D is E or Q. So remember, that's everything inside of the Venn diagram. So that's this, this, and this. Okay, so let's add all of those up. So that's 0.19 plus 0.4 plus 0.14. Okay, and if you add all of those up, you get 0.73. All right, and then my last one here is everything that's not E or Q. So that would be everything outside of the Venn diagram circles. So that's just 0.27. All right. Okay, so I'm hoping at this point that you have enough experience with the Venn diagrams that you can kind of try this last one here on your own. Okay, so the two, I'm going to help you out a little bit. So we have, let me switch back to my pen here. Okay, so my two categories here are sedan. So I'm going to call that S. And then black is the other category. So you have a sedan, a black car, and then obviously there's an intersection between the two. Okay, so they told us that the total probability for a sedan is 0.54. So that would be like this whole circle is 0.54. Okay, probability of a black sedan, so that's both, right? Both categories is 0.29. Okay, and then they said the probability that the vehicle is a black car that's not a sedan is 0.28. So that's like this area right here. Okay, and then the both probability goes here. All right, so what you need to do is solve the rest of the Venn diagram. So you're missing this value, you're missing this total value right here. Okay, and then you're missing this neither value right there. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video. Okay, try this one out. Okay, find those missing values and then see if you can calculate those individual probabilities, and then check back with me in just a moment to see how you did. All right, folks, so go ahead and check your answers against mine. The first 5 were fairly simple because you can get them just from filling in the Venn diagram. So first, check to make sure that your filled in or like the missing parts are correct. So the sedan part that's not also black is 0.25, and I got that by subtracting the total for sedans, which is 0.54 minus the and probability, right, that they have in common. Okay, the total for black sedans, or sorry, just the total for black cars in general is just 0.29 plus 0.28, which is 0.57. Okay, and then to get that not, like the neither probability on the outside of the actual Venn diagram part, okay, you have add all of the values together that are inside of the circles. So that's going to give you the or probability. So that's 0.82, and then you just do 1 minus that value to get whatever's on the outside. So 0.18. All right, so with all of that filled in, most of these are fairly simple, okay? So probability of a black car is 0.57, it's just the total for that black circle, okay? The probability that a vehicle is not black, I could either add all of the values that are outside of the black circle, but I was like, it's going to be easier since I already calculated the probability that a car is black to just do 1 minus that value, and it'll give me the not probability for that. So that's what I did, and I got 0.43, okay? Probability that a vehicle is a black sedan is just the intersection, right? That's both a car that's both black and a sedan, so that's 0.29. Okay, probability that a vehicle is either a sedan or black is the sum of all of those values inside of the circles, so that's 0.82. Okay, probability that a vehicle is a sedan and is also not black would be, right, it has to be in the sedan circle, but also not in the black circle. So that's this, the 0.25. Okay. And now this last one was probably a little tricky. So I'm going to kind of show you what this looks like visually. And then I'm going to kind of walk you through the math that I did down here. So I want to find the probability that a vehicle is a sedan or is not black. Okay, so this is how this is written in probability notation. Now remember, with or in probability, that just means that the vehicle that we pull has to either be a sedan, has to be not black, or has to be both, okay? So that would be, right, the sedan area is all of this, okay? Then the not black area is all of this. So it would be like 0.18 and the 0.25, right? So the actual like physical area that you're looking for is either inside of this circle, right? So it includes both of these, And then it also includes this because that's not black. The only thing it can't include is this one, right? Because this 0.28 right here is black, so it doesn't fit in this second category, and it's also not a sedan, so it doesn't fit in this category, okay? So you could have figured this out by adding this number, and this number together, okay? I did it a slightly different way, okay, which we kind of talked about when we did two-way tables, right? I'm using something called the addition rule here, which I don't think you all have seen yet, but this is a little preview for you. So basically, what you can do is you can say, okay, what's the probability of each of those events individually? So probability of sedan is 0.54. Okay, probability of not black, I calculated up here, is 0.43. And then what you do to figure out the final probability is you subtract the intersection of those two categories, right? What they have in common. Because if you just did sedan and not black, there would be something that would be counted twice, which you can kind of see when you look at it visually, right? Sedan is these two, 0.25 and 0.29, and not black is these two, 0.25 and 0.18. So the 0.25 gets counted twice. So you don't want to do that, so you have to subtract that value away, right? And that's what the addition rule does. So that's the math that I did right here and how I got 0.72. But you would get the same thing if you added this guy, and this guy, all right? Okay, folks, so that is it for this practice problems video. I hope that was helpful for you in breaking apart these Venn diagrams, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.